What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Wladimir Klitschko. Wladimir Klitschko was at a recent event where he was being honored as a legend. He had received a legend medal, which, of course, represented all the things, all the gifted and legendary things that he did into the ring while he was fighting. And they asked him about his thoughts on Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz, the rematch, and he said, whatever I feel is not important. What will happen will be. But I do hope that Anthony Joshua will make it. That was his words. I hope he will make it through. I like Andy Ruiz too. I feel that Anthony Joshua, anybody can lose, and Anthony Joshua tasted his first defeat. But the question is, what will he do after the loss? And he also said that he's a fan of Anthony Joshua through the Olympics, and he became a bigger fan, of course, after he was beaten by Anthony Joshua. And he hopes he makes it. Now, I look at this as a person that knows knows when you get upset. Look at Corey Sanders. Look at that fight. Lamont Brewster. Look at that fight, right? Those were upset losses from Wladimir Klitschko. Wladimir Klitschko was able to come back. He didn't do it right away, but he did. He didn't do it directly after that, but he did it eventually. So he knows more than anyone else, since he's came to the end of his road, looking back, reflecting his career, he can definitely empathize with Anthony Joshua. Those guys, like I said, they're pretty much cut from the same cloth, as Anthony Joshua would admit. I'm not surprised why Wladimir would want Anthony Joshua, because, Vladimir's thinking, he's a good role model. He's good for the sport of boxing. If it was anyone that finally took that torch, he's glad it was him. You know what I mean? So I think he's more or less rooting for Anthony Joshua on that regard because of those reasons. Not because they're from the same country or anything like that. It has nothing to do with it. It's just, birds from the feather flock together. And I feel that that's the reason why Wladimir Klitschko would want Joshua to win that fight, So, of course, he also asked, he was asked about Ortiz and Wilder, to cover that. He said that was a very good fight. Luis Ortiz, is still a skillful fighter, and it should be a good fight, And Wladimir Klitschko, I feel, if I'm going to add this, my counterpunch on this, I think that if there was going to be another fighter or another person that was going to aid Joshua, it would be Wladimir. That may still happen. We don't know. But since Wladimir is that guy that contacts Joshua, but if you notice, this is really one of the first times you've heard him say anything about Joshua, but it was something general, okay? It was not in a criticizing way. It was something general, something positive. And I think that's what Joshua respects about Wladimir, because Wladimir, if he had anything to say, he would say it to Joshua himself. He contacted Joshua and they talked. They had those private conversations or whatever. You know what I mean? And I think that's what Joshua respects from Wladimir. That's what he expects fighters to do. Now, I could twist this another way. The conversations he had with Wilder, the private conversations, I would expect, or I would assume, rather, that Joshua had private conversations to Deontay Wilder. If he had those, okay, well, you can talk to me directly. I don't know what type of tone or whatnot, or how those conversations went, but I doubt there were any disrespecting ways, right? Versus what Wilder chose to say to the public about Joshua. You know what I mean? But anyway, I would expect if there is a lot of smack talk or whatnot to Joshua to have the same type of energy he said about Lennox Lewis, you know, because he was just heated on that. Maybe that's just something that was brewing up. Maybe, you know, I guess one brew up at a time or whatnot. I'm gonna go off on you later, you know. But anyway, those were Vladimir's words. He wishes that Anthony Joshua would win, but will he? That still remains to be seen. We will see December 7th. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Wladimir Klitschko's words and comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.